Do it.
Okay. So my thing is travel intention.
Okay.
So I
Is this travel for fun, for work, for?
yes, well, travel for everything, but especially for fun.
Okay.
Okay. So should I go into what it is and read it
Yeah,
or
just tell me where you are in the process and why you want to address it here. So let's just zero into right where you are, and then we'll go from there. Is that all right?
so I am going with my man to celebrate his birthday next month. We are planning to go to Zanzibar. It's off of East Africa. It's like an amazing luxury beach vacation, wonderful. Like, when you see the images and everything, it's like exactly what I've been desiring. I have like a connection to that part of the world. It's been speaking to me, calling me, and I was like, yes, let's do it. Plus, he wants to go visit continents that he hasn't visited before. It's like a big thing and really exciting and fun. And, as maybe like a month or so before when we're talking about it, it's like, okay, I'm just going to like bask in the idea and like looking at the images. And it's like, great, beautiful. Then as it starts coming upon us, it's next month, start diving into the particulars, right? Like the specifics of getting the tickets, of picking out the place we're going to stay, things like that. And it's not like we're having to cut corners or anything. Like, we're setting a good budget for this and trying to maximize the most of it. But I think yesterday, as I was like having to renew my passport, which is another one of the particulars and everything, mind you, let me just say that I didn't write down the intention. I didn't feel like I had to write, like set an intention for this because I just felt like I was just flowing with it, But
Yeah.
yesterday became very clear as I was trying to renew my passport, like getting my like renewal for the passport and everything done, that I was like seriously bugging out, like really getting bogged down with the particulars, with all the specifics, getting overwhelmed, started thinking impending doom, started thinking about tsunamis, and started thinking about like all this like crazy stuff. I started thinking also as I was like doing all the stuff to renew my passport, I was like noticing that I was like, there's this underlying thought that kept coming up of like, you can't fuck this up. Like if you fuck up, whatever form, and it's a very simple renewal form. Okay, you've done it. It's a very simple renewal form, but I was like, oh my God, I have to like triple check, quadruple check, because if anything goes wrong, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to like, fix it or whatever. And then it's like all messed up I'm not going to have a passport in time to go on vacation. And then people were talking about, oh, do you need shots and stuff to go to Africa? And I was like, oh my, like literally like freaking out and feeling like I'm going to mess this up. Like it just kept coming up to the point where I even had I took my passport photo at UPS yesterday and I had like the lady who was helping me. She was such a sweetheart, but I was like, I didn't even want to staple the photo onto the form because I was afraid that I was going to staple it incorrectly. Like I was like very bugged out and like, just like, it was like paralyzing me, in like moving forward. Even just on like down to like making decisions on where to stay and like the flights and like everything was becoming much more difficult and scary. And it was it was like getting to the point where I almost felt like, oh, maybe I don't want to do this,
Is that where you are right now?
Well, no, which is why I wrote out the intentions.
Okay, so that's where I want to go.
Which is why I wrote out the intention yesterday.
First of all, let us note that Delilah A+ for class today with her form fully filled out. Okay. So before we even get into the details of that, just put that aside for a moment and just talk to me about not all the Michigas crazy detaily stuff. Talk to me about when the plane lands there and you've arrived at this destination that you want to be at. Talk to me about what it looks like to you at this point when you get there.
When we get there, we're
Ideal world.
yeah, we're great. Well, you want to say when we get there, because I kind of want to go to like even when we step on the plane, like like even before getting there.
I want to go to when you're there.
Okay, because that's part of the travel thing. But okay,
Yeah,
you're instructing me. I'm gonna go by. I'm taking your lead. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
when I get there, we're greeted by the amazing people at the resort. You know, they're there to take, like they're welcoming us. They're so happy that we're there. They know that it's, you know, my man's birthday, and they're just like so thrilled that we're there, and they're taking care of us, and they're like loving the fact that we're in the country and like appreciating it. And you know, when we see the ocean and everything, we're like, oh my God, this is paradise. This is amazing. This is well worth it. Well worth the like day that it took to fly here, you know. And I just feel like completely soothed, and like everything just falls away, and I just feel like a floating cork.
All right, keep going.
I'm eating amazing food.
Tell me, just keep going, but please make it a little bit more even about you and the two of you and what it's like through your eyes and what you're seeing and how you're feeling and who you're communicating with.
The water is like I've never seen before in my life. The sun is like amazing. Like I'm just like taking in this part of the world that I've never experienced before. We're both like in awe of what we're seeing. We're both in awe of what we're feeling.
What are some of those feelings?
Goosebumps. ASMR, the sounds of the ocean, the sounds of like people like when they're working with their hands, you know, on the beach, like how they take care of things, and just all the like beautiful details, the architecture, the culture, you know, like a different beach culture, a different island, you know, culture, taking all of that in. I'm an island girl, so like that is just, you know.
Just give me a minute or so on the two of you and what it's like for the two of you as a couple to be in this place you've never been.
This is realizing our dream of traveling the world. We're both consider ourselves worldly people, and not in a pretension sense, but in a very open, like we love experiencing other cultures, engaging in other cultures, learning about other cultures. So this is like expanding us. We feel like we're like expanding and feeling fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. What are two other feelings?
Free.
Okay.
I was gonna say satisfied, but I feel like that's fulfilled. Nourished.
Cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the intention setting clinic. So what we want to focus on here is the prize. That's what the whole intention's about. That's what everything you wrote down is about. So when we catch ourselves in, when we are living in the space between this moment and the full manifestation of what we're intending, we're almost always going to experience the spectrum of the high of, oh yeah, ideal world, nobody can say no, money's no object, this is how it is, this is why we're doing this is what we've set in motion, boom, boom, boom. And the oftentimes opposite end of that of, oh my God, what if, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you would, so I try to just imagine this range of emotion, this range of thinking, this range of possibilities as on this continuum, right? So the more that you are living in and feeling and thinking about the stuff at the on this end, on the manifestation end, like you just were, the better it is for everything, right? That's what we want to do, is live in that space, even in the moments between now and when it occurs, right? So, and then we use that as a guide. So I'm always saying, is the intention shining clear and at the ready, which it looks like it is for you, right? Which is great, because then you can go right to it and measure yourself. Am I in alignment with it? Does it feel good? Are things sort of flowing? Or am I somehow, for whatever reason, freaked out and thinking about things that are completely not in alignment? And then utilizing that data as your guide for what to do next. In other words, can I just switch into the intention? Or am I, or not? And if not, that's where we can use the tapping, or whatever other method you like, to realign with it. You know, so even though right now I'm just overcome with all kinds of doubt and worry and what ifs and blah, 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 I love and accept myself completely. Or even though right now in this moment, I'm suddenly hijacked by all these doom and gloom thoughts and ideas, I'm choosing here and now to realign with my intention. Oh, here it is. What is my intention?
Here and now. Choosing here and now is a good one.
Yeah, to just realign. But also, I just want to also underscore one thing, Delilah, that you actually demonstrated without necessarily trying to, which is what we always often struggle with in the intention setting process, which is when we first started talking, it was super easy for you to talk about all the negative stuff, right? The impending doom and the passport and the what ifs and the da-da-da. I mean, that was like coming, right? I kind of wanted to stop you sooner, but that train had left the station and we had to play it out, right? And yet right there, that's sort of the rub. When we're in this process, the idea, it's not about not having those thoughts necessarily. It's about, what do I do when I notice that those are dominating?
Yes.
And how quickly can I just go back to where I want to go, right? So you also are showing us pretty much the extremes, right? It was not all that difficult for you once we got there to talk about ideal world. Nobody can say, no, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. And it's fantastic. And it's, you know, that was not all that difficult once you got there, but there was just a bit of a, right? And almost a habitual, well, here, let me make sure I express all this bad negative stuff first, right? Now, we always dance between that idea of needing to give voice to any negativity that's there, and not overindulging that negativity for no reason, right? So that's why I always like to first go, how can we in this moment realign with the intention? Because if we can, then there's nothing else we need to do.
Does that
make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And I thought that too, because, you know, when I brought up the tsunami thought, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I told her specifically that I was like, I didn't really go off and share this with anyone. I can share it with you because, you know, she knows like my little impending doom thoughts, but I didn't want to I told her, I was like, I didn't want to entertain it with other people, only with her, because she knows, you know, and we can put context to it. But yeah, I was kind of like, all right, I don't want to entertain all the impending doom thoughts, all the scary stuff. But at the same time, I don't want to feel like I'm avoiding them.
Well, right. So this is the way to answer that question is to jump into the intention. Because if you can realign with the intention, then you're not avoiding anything.
That's why I felt so compelled to actually write it down yesterday. Good. Because I felt like the monsoon. I'm saying monsoon. I felt like stream of thoughts come in that were kind of dominating, and it was affecting my body. I was feeling paralyzed, you know, like.
Okay, so that right there too, listening to inspiration, and mind and body are connected. I'm feeling off in my own body. What thoughts am I having that are contributing to that?
Completely.
Right, and they're not going to be the thoughts that are in your intention. So
Absolutely.
again, it's, you know, I think that anyone's hanging out here long enough is going to start to get the knack for this, which is problem, 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 blah, 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 habit, habit, inertia, easy to talk about, right? So the very first question, well, what's the antidote to all that? What is the intention? And the degree to which we can snap back into the intention, assuming it's there and shiny and clear, then we don't have to worry about that other stuff. That's really what it's for. And that's why I'm always kind of wanting to just, that's sort of the first stop along the way.
2 questions.
Yeah.
This intention that I made was more of a general travel intention. Mm-hmm. Do you think it might, and I'm kind of feeling this way, do you think I can should set a sub travel intention for this particular vacation, or would this cover it?
Feel it out for yourself. There's no right or wrong, really.
Okay.
Truly.
And then the second question I have is, so with the traveling, there's the planning ahead. There's the, you know, you have to kind of make choices as to the flights and those particulars and stuff like that. But because, you know, I feel frequency first, like I'm really committed to that. I get a little wobbly with that because I feel like, okay, it's upon us, it's next month, I have to make decisions right now, but I'm feeling really wobbly, and I really want to stay committed to that without going back to 3D time and, like, you know. So what do you think, you know, how do you?
Same thing, alignment with the intention. So ideally, now of course, Delilah's talking about planning a vacation. There are going to be dates. There's a beginning, middle, and an end.
There's flights. There's
3 years in the future. It's pretty soon. So that's always that brings us down on the 3D level, and you have to do what you have to do. And, you know, the calendar becomes a tool, right? But the rest of it is more general. It's like, yeah, we're traveling. We're doing what we always like to do. And this time we're going to this place, and this is why we're going here and what we like. And so it still is the same thing. It's still, when we align with the intention, any kind of an intention, and we make that our priority, and we effort and put our effort into that, into living in the intention, then you know that we listen to inspiration for what actions to take. So
ideas following.
So it really is the first thing. So I promise you that when you feel aligned with that intention, which is already largely developed, if not entirely, right, then that's the frequency first. That really is it. You know, then doing the tasks and doing the things, you just bring a different energy to it, you know, and it's like, oh,
when it really aligns with the intention, that's the frequency. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. That answers the question.
And I know you know that.
I know that, but it's the reminder, you know.
Yeah.
That was, you know, it's like I was a little bit treading water yesterday.
Right.
And today a little bit, but treading water with this is important to me. It's a very big intention because I, you know, like when I got to the why is important for me to travel. My intention is I travel with ease, eagerness, and enthusiasm.
There you go.
Right.
So really cultivate that, really get there. And that's when getting your passport taken care of becomes easier. That's where, you know, spending the time online or however you're doing it to decide on flights and times and this and that becomes easier. That's where deciding on where you're going and where you're staying and how you're going to use your time and what you're going to reserve and where
you know, having like this like dope like flying experience. Like I'm like, oh, I'm like, yeah. So thank you. Thank you, Stephen.